Hello, hello. I'm Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. Anytime you need us, we're at CWG.live. We have a warming trend to talk about this week. Man, it starts pleasant. Of course, it would be on a Monday, which makes me secretly a little bit grumpy that we're going to have a very nice day tomorrow. Low, if any, wind, very little wind tomorrow. Very dry air, crisp air, 70s, low to mid 70s. And then, we get the breezes back in on Tuesday, but still very decent, very sunny on Tuesday, and much warmer. That's where the warming trend really gets going. We're well into the 80s after tomorrow, Monday. So get ready for not quite a heat wave, but it's kind of the warmest stuff we've seen, or at least tied with some of the warmest temperatures we've seen so far this year. I'm Kendall Walker. This is our Sunday Sunset Live Q&A. We do this every week for 20 minutes to chat on all four of our social media channels, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Really glad to see all of you. And even we're live at cwg.live tonight as well. KM Science Teacher Jim, Charge, Kelly, good to see you. And Lori and Hannah and Elizabeth, thank you so much for tuning in. ML Benak, thank you so much. All right, temperatures are animated below. You can see we go from warm to very warm Tuesday onward this week. And we've got precipitation that kind of holds off, I think, until maybe Tuesday night, Wednesday morning at the earliest. And then I think we could see one or a couple storms Wednesday. Maybe one of them is strong. But Thursday and Friday have a higher chance for storms, and we could see still a kind of slight, maybe organized chance for a few strong storms Thursday and Friday afternoon and evening. So we'll have to watch that for the end of the week with a little bit of humidity coming in just a little bit, along with our very warm temperatures. Liz, hello. Vegan, hello. Yes, I'm thinking about allergies right now and still sniffing a little bit vegan. I'm grateful for the spring temps as well. But yes, allergies we'll talk about just a second. Charlene, hello. And Rick is talking about the pollen accumulating on the ground, which is an indicator that we're past the peak, I think, of tree pollen season. And Liz, and there we go. We're all on the same page, Liz. We are still high with tree pollen. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Looks like we're all on the allergy same page. I'm trying not to think about it. I'll have psychosomatic sneezes on you. But here's the pollen levels still high, low elsewhere across the board for mold and mildew spores. Uh, let's see, grasses, and for weeds as well. So low except for trees, which is still high, but we were, as I hinted last Sunday, I think that really was right near the peak for that over 2,100 daily volumetric count for the trees last weekend. So a very far below graph shows we typically do get a peak reading over 2,000, and that's where we were at last weekend. So I think with decently medium high confidence, and it's shared by others in the industry, I think we are just past the peak of tree pollen season. So that's some great news. But does it mean it's going to go anywhere super quickly? No. And then the other bad news is we're going to kind of see tree pollen replaced by grass pollen in the allergy field here. So that is some of the bad news. Good evening, David. Julia, storms maybe one or two on Wednesday, but I think a little more organized and maybe a slightly higher chance for a strong storm or two, maybe a few on Thursday and Friday, Julia. All right. We've got Jesse, MR, LG, and we've got Dauntless. Uh, Rain helped a little bit with the recent deficits and droughts, but let me show you that the drought is really darn persistent, and it's bumming me out a little bit. We still have severe droughts around the kind of Potomac, River Valley area and points northward into Maryland and DC proper as well. That is in the darker orange. The D2 drought is severe drought. So we need a lot more than is forecast in the next 7 days. Kind of modest amounts, unfortunately, of rain throughout the region. Luckiest spots will see maybe 2 or 3 rounds of thunderstorms between Wednesday and Friday this upcoming week. That's when rain chances kind of re enter the picture for most of us. And the luckiest spots will get those downpours, but they're not guaranteed. It'll be very patchy, very hit or miss. So that's somewhat of a bummer, right? I mean, we won't see large spread, organized rain, but here's kind of showing you the rain chances Tuesday night into early Wednesday. Maybe that's one round, maybe a storm Wednesday afternoon-ish. Could even see one Wednesday morning. I probably need to hedge my timing bets on Wednesday. One or two storms could happen anytime. More organized storms potentially Thursday, Friday. Not a huge signal for strong storms, but it's there. The ingredients are kind of there. with higher temperatures, higher moisture content in the atmosphere. So we need to watch that a little bit for Thursday and Friday too. And then clouds are behaving themselves Monday, Tuesday, pretty darn bright. Very sunny tomorrow again. Monday, of all days, is going to be a very nice day tomorrow for probably the nicest day of the entire work week. And clouds kind of come back into the picture Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Try to get out of here on Saturday. We'll see. I can't fully, with high confidence, eliminate shower chances on Saturday, but Sunday looks very decent and clear as it is stands now. And again, wind being super low tomorrow, probably the calmest of the week, is another reason it's got a nice day stamp for tomorrow in our very top of the frame here. That's our latest forecast that I've updated at cwg.live, so check that out. And then the dew point scale, just to show you a little bit of hint of humidity, maybe dew points around or just above 60 this week. So nothing too oppressive. We're slowly getting used to dew points near or around 60 degrees this time of year. And of course, by late summer, we will love dew points in the 60, but around the 60-degree mark. That would feel like dry and refreshing, but not quite there yet. We haven't acclimated at this point coming out of winter into like later parts of the spring. We'll start feeling nicer at around the 60-degree dew point. All right, let me catch up with K1, Eames, and BK, and Dan, and Lori. Wallace, good to see you on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Good evening, Deidre, Hassan. So far, things are not chillier than normal, and Paul, next Saturday, can't rule out a couple showers around Williamsburg and for the drive down next Saturday. And Ruth Elisa felt like a heavenly day today. Hi, I'm glad to see you. Very good to see you, and I'm glad you enjoyed the weather. And tomorrow looks really, really nice as well. And David, I don't see a high chance for severe weather watches just yet. It's a little far out, but let's talk about as this one front approaches Tuesday night into early Wednesday. I think storms stay to our northwest in the DC area. They should stay just to our northwest into maybe sunrise Wednesday. I'm curious about, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let's see. I've got a little bit of a signal I found for some strong, maybe a severe storm. Wednesday, a little bit, and Thursday and Friday. Chances are generally under 15% for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the ingredients in the atmosphere Thursday and Friday they're more conducive for some organized storms. And that tends to, increase the chances a little bit for a couple or few strong storms Thursday, Friday. So Wednesday, one or two strong storms, maybe. And then Thursday, Friday, I think a greater coverage of storms with a few strong storms cannot be ruled out in that case. All right, Laura, we'll go back to the allergy report for you. Tree pollen is still high. And the good news is with decent confidence, we are now past the peak of tree pollen season. Unfortunately, grasses are going to start increasing into May and kind of take over our noses and sinuses and eyes as we get into May. But as we hinted at last Sunday for our weekly Sunday Sunset chat, we had a reading over 2,100, and that is typical of a peak tree pollen season reading. So that is some great news. The more I think you all were reporting that we're seeing some accumulating like dusty pieces of pollen around, that's another good sign. When we start seeing the pollen, it's past peak pollen and the aerosolized in the air, in the atmosphere. So it's dropping some of the pollen and not really directly floating in the air and going into our into our problem areas for allergy sufferers. Not Manassas. We've got wind under control for tomorrow. I don't think wind is going to be a major headline this week, but I do see some breezes on Tuesday, Friday. Those are kind of the breezier 2 days as it looks now. But so far, I don't see high wind gusts over 40 with likelihood. I don't see a wind advisory in the cards this week. But try and get out tomorrow. I think it's our nicest day of the week, sunniest, most comfortable, least windy day of the week. Of course, it would be on a Monday, but we did give it a nice day stamp at cwg.live. You'll see the latest forecast there at the far top. Right above my hat is the graphical forecast at a glance. And right here's the wind for tomorrow. Going to be great. Gentle. Please enjoy the lack of wind tomorrow. All right. Let's look ahead really quick for signals into next work week, since we're halfway through our broadcast here. I really can't believe how 10 minutes has already gone past of our 20 minutes. So temperatures next week are leaning above average after maybe a brief, modestly cool weekend. We'll see. Temperatures might cool off a hair for this upcoming weekend, a hair below average. 60s maybe are possible in some of the cooler spots after being well into the 80s. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this upcoming week, we could have a briefly cool weekend, but then next work week, I think we're starting to lean toward above average temperatures again. And with the drought, we don't want to see this. This is precipitation leaning below average for next work week. So that's not super great, given that this next 7 days, let me show you the expected precipitation. It's pretty modest. It's pretty modest for the next 7 days. Hopefully, your garden can get one of these thunderstorms that are not severe or strong. Get kind of a nice soaking rain downpour for 20 minutes. That would be ideal for many of us in the upcoming week, but overall, modest rain amounts. And I love that we're talking about pollen. I'm getting allergic. It's fantastic. All right, let's show you the temperature slideshow. First off, the headline that we've updated at cwg.live is at the top here. Graphical forecast at a glance. Anytime you need us 24/7. And we're even live right now on cwg.live on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. Those are our 4 social media channels. This is our weekly Sunday Sunset Live Q&A, and I'm Camden Walker. We do this 20-minute chat every week. Really good seeing all of you on all of our social media channels and at cwg.live. We're animating for you the warmth that's going to increase this week. Pleasant 70s tomorrow. Very warm, well into the 80s, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Maybe one day slips right into like a 79, 80 degree reading, but I really think decent chance for 80s to dominate Tuesday through Friday this week. And so we go from warm to very warm pretty quickly after a 1 day pleasantness tomorrow, which has got a nice day stamp for tomorrow. Of course, it would be a Monday, right? Precipitation pretty limited this week. I think we're dry Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday night, early Wednesday, we need to start watching for maybe a shower, a storm encroaching the region. And then I think, you know, a slight chance for showers and storms on Wednesday, but it really gets going, I think, Thursday, Friday, higher chance for precipitation, and then maybe a couple showers linger on Saturday, and then it's a nicer Sunday. So we'll keep you posted on how that looks as we get closer, but modest rain amounts. Hard to really say it's worth planning around, modest rain amounts over the next 7 days. It's going to be some hit or miss showers and storms, especially Thursday and Friday. So really, keep your plans nimble, especially Thursday, Friday, and a little bit flexible on Wednesday as well. But really, it's not looking like a washout or rain out. We could use that though, more rain, to quench our droughts, which remains severe in the darker oranges around DC, the Potomac River, and points northward. Clouds are behaving themselves Monday, Tuesday. Very sunny Monday, decently sunny Tuesday. Wednesday through Friday are fairly cloudy as the rain chances kind of return, especially Thursday, Friday. And then we try and clear out the Saturday and Sunday. We'll see if we can eliminate the chances for a couple showers and clouds on Saturday. But wind is behaving, as we were talking about. Tomorrow is the gentlest, least wind of the week. So please get outside and enjoy the next 24 hours. Maybe a gust. What is that? Maybe one gust near 20. That even seems a little bit high. So enjoy the lack of breeze tomorrow is my point. And then humidity is pretty much under control. A little bit humid as rain chances return Tuesday night into Friday. But I don't think dew points even probably stay shy of the mid 60s. So moist, becoming unpleasant in the 60, 65 degree range. Not too bad. And then thunderstorms here in this depiction from the Storm Prediction Center, they're kind of on Tuesday night into very early Wednesday, kind of hovering to our northwest. And then I think maybe Wednesday during the day, Wednesday afternoon, evening, we could see a strong storm in that brown shading. But we'll see. It's more organized storms for the ingredients in the atmosphere. It's a little more organization potential for Thursday and Friday. And we'll need to keep you posted just to see if a greater number of storms ends up producing a handful of strong to severe storms Thursday and Friday. So we'll keep you posted at cwg.live. I'm Camden Walker. 5 minutes left. Let me check in on all of our comments and questions here. Erie, Mimi, DJ Bell, good to see you on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Not Manassas, we talked about the winds are very gentle tomorrow, but we could be a bit breezy again. Tuesday and Friday might be the windiest days of the week. Liz, you're most welcome. Ruth Lisa, I'm glad you found that interesting. And Paul, yes, if you can, somehow work outside tomorrow or take a long break, long lunch even. Playing hooky is not a bad idea tomorrow. It's our nicest day of the week. I'll say it there. And let's see, Charlene's reporting awesome garden conditions for corn, zucchini, etc. Great weather week ahead. Enjoy your gardening, Charlene. And David, yes, we could use more precipitation. I agree. Oh, Lewis said a bunch of yard work. Could not have been a better day. Agree. And if you have time tomorrow and aren't behind a desk, Lewis, I think tomorrow looks like a great yard day tomorrow as well for yard work. And let's see, David, the medium term, like we showed you for next week, I don't love this, right? When we see that there's a lean for below average precipitation for next work week, I don't love that, and I don't see a major pattern shift in the cards just yet to really get this drought eliminated out of here. We're gonna, I think, continue to see not zero rain, but modest rain amounts like this for the next 7 days. A quarter, half inch of rain is just not quite enough as we get going in the growing season. We need more to keep up with agricultural needs, water table needs, and drinking water needs, etc. Evapotranspiration needs, right? We just are increasing those with a higher sun, more plant life, etc. All right, Ruth Lisa, you're most welcome. And Eric, let's see. Good to see you. I'm sorry about the internet issues, but I'm glad you were tuning in. That's fantastic. And Paul, you're most welcome. And Catherine, most welcome. It's a very decent forecast, especially if you like warmth. The warm trend really gets going Tuesday through Friday. And Dave, you're most welcome. You have a great week ahead as well. And no worries, Catherine. It's really good talking to you. And on this weekly Sunday Sunset Live Q&A, I'm Camden Walker on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and X, and live at cwg.live, our latest forecast at the very top. Graphical kind of forecast at a glance that you can find on our site is also above here. Modest rain amounts this upcoming week. And we'll do a quick review over the next 3 minutes. The 20-minute mark is coming, but I love doing these weekly 20-minute chats with all of you. And let's go forward and check the temperature animation here. It goes from warm, pleasant 70s tomorrow, nicest day of the week, had to be on a Monday, to very warm 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Very warm. I think a hint of humidity may come into the picture as early as Tuesday night, along with slight precipitation chances. Mainly holding off for Thursday, Friday. Those could be the biggest rain chances of the week, with more organized, hopefully everyday strength storms, but can't rule out a few strong storms, especially Thursday, Friday, maybe one or two strong storms on Wednesday as well. We will keep you posted, of course, at cwg.live. Rainfall amounts are pretty modest, unfortunately. A quarter to a half inch for most of us. If you're lucky, you'll get, a downpour without a very strong thunderstorm this week. That's kind of the ideal this time of year. It's a patchwork of rain delivered by these thunderstorms during the warm season. And drought continues. That's why we want more rain, but aren't guaranteed to see it in the coming weeks. We'll keep you posted, but drought is persistent. It continues. Clouds are hard to find tomorrow. A little bit more cloud cover on Tuesday, but still pretty darn bright, really. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, clouds come back. Try and get them out of here on Saturday with maybe a couple lingering showers. Hopefully, we can have a dry weekend, but just want to warn you, we'll have to watch the Saturday forecast a little bit. Sunday has a better chance of being sunny and dry and rain free. Wind is less of a story this week. Tomorrow is the gentlest lack of wind for the entire week, so please get out and enjoy it. Dew points as a kind of absolute measure of humidity and that sticky feeling are pretty under control this week, maybe around 60 to low 60s. So moist becoming unpleasant, maybe Tuesday night onward at times. There'll be intermittent times of hints of humidity. So that's good, right? But thunderstorms are around northwest of us, maybe on Tuesday night into very early Wednesday. With Wednesday has a slight signal for one or two strong storms. Remains to be seen, but a stronger, more organized thunderstorm pattern is there for Thursday and Friday this week. That's when we could see several everyday strength, typical, like almost summertime thunderstorms, but a few of those Thursday and Friday could be strong to severe. But we want to start keeping an eye on things as early as Wednesday. Pollen is high, but maybe probably actually past peak, like we were hinting at and predicting last Sunday when we had a reading over 2100 at the very bottom graph. That shows in the last 20 plus years we've had peak pollen readings for trees above 2000. So that was a great signal. Now we're seeing some accumulation of different pollens. I think oak sheaths are coming apart on the trees, and that's another sign that we are likely past peak for tree pollen. And that's great news. Grasses will take over in May, but let's celebrate short-term victories for now. And then temperatures for next work week are leaning above average. Unfortunately, precipitation leaning below average right there. All right, it is time for me to go. That is my 20 minutes. Let me check in on Casey, Empress, Mir, Susie, Toil. Good to see you. Let me make sure I haven't missed your comments and questions further here on Instagram. Ruth, Lisa, and Charlene, break out the shorts. Yes, indeed. And see you next Sunday, David. Thanks for tuning in for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. You have a great week, Charlene and Catherine and Exo Wahoo and Casey and Ami and Aimp and Mrs. Lauren and Frick. All right, everyone, I'll see you next Sunday. Enjoy the warmth this week. And remember, tomorrow, Monday, is the most sunny, the most comfortable, and least windy of the entire week. Unfortunately, it's on a Monday, but do what you can to enjoy it. All right, I'm Cameron Walker at CWG.live signing off, and I'll see you next